What if your liver was breaking down before you ever felt sick? What if one of the most important organs in your body was breaking down, and you felt nothing? No sharp pain, no dramatic warning, no sudden collapse. You wake up in the morning, you drink your coffee, you go to work, you eat dinner with your family, you laugh, you make plans. And somewhere deep inside your body, your liver keeps working, quietly, patiently, bravely, until one day the silence breaks, and by the time it does, the damage may already be serious. This is the strange and frightening thing about liver disease. It often does not begin with a scream, it begins with a whisper. And sometimes the body does not hear that whisper until years have already passed. So maybe the real question is not, how do we treat liver disease after it becomes obvious? Maybe the deeper question is, what if we could detect the liver breaking down before a person ever felt sick? What if medicine could hear the warning early enough? What if liver disease did not have to begin with a crisis? The liver is not a small background organ. It is one of the great chemical factories of the human body. It helps process food. It stores energy. It filters harmful substances. It produces bile to help digest fats. It helps control blood sugar. It supports blood clotting. It helps manage cholesterol. It breaks down medications. Every day, without attention, without applause, your liver helps keep you alive. And maybe that is part of the problem, because the liver is so good at adapting, so good at compensating, so good at continuing its work under pressure, that it can be damaged long before a person feels that anything is wrong. That is why liver disease can be so dangerous. Not because it is always fast, but because it can be quiet. A person can look healthy, feel normal, pass through ordinary life, and still, hidden damage can be building. Fat can gather inside liver cells. Inflammation can begin. Scar tissue can slowly form. And step by step, the soft, living tissue of the liver can become stiffer, more damaged, less able to do its job. This process is called fibrosis, and if it continues far enough, it can become cirrhosis. At that stage, the liver is not just irritated, it is scarred. The architecture of the organ has changed, and the body may begin paying the price. For a long time, many people thought of liver disease mainly as an alcohol problem. And yes, alcohol can seriously damage the liver. But the modern liver crisis is much bigger than alcohol alone. Today, liver damage can be connected to obesity, type 2 diabetes, high blood sugar, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, viral hepatitis, certain medications, genetics, autoimmune disease, and many other causes. One of the most important modern liver problems is fatty liver disease. This means fat builds up inside the liver. For some people, that fat stays relatively mild, but for others, it becomes more dangerous. The liver becomes inflamed. Cells become injured. Scar tissue begins to form. And over time, the disease can move from something silent to something life-changing. That is what makes this subject so important, because this is not just a rare problem happening to somebody else. It is connected to the way millions of people live now. The food environment, the rise of diabetes, the rise of obesity, the stress of modern life, the hidden effects of alcohol, the long delay between damage beginning and symptoms appearing. A person may not feel sick, but biology may already be drifting. And that is the terrifying idea at the center of this episode. The liver may be in trouble long before the person knows they are a patient. The human body is full of warning systems. Pain tells us when something is injured. Fever tells us when something is wrong. Shortness of breath tells us when the lungs or heart may be struggling. But liver disease can be different. Early liver damage often does not create a clear alarm. There may be fatigue, there may be vague discomfort, there may be nothing at all. And nothing is dangerous because nothing feels safe. A person thinks, I'm fine, I'm busy, I'll worry about health later. But inside the body, the liver may be quietly losing reserve. And that reserve matters, because the liver is one of the few organs that can take a lot of damage and still keep functioning. That sounds like a strength, and it is, but it is also why disease can hide. The liver can keep going until it cannot. Then the signs may become much more serious. yellowing skin or eyes, swelling in the belly or legs, easy bruising, confusion, bleeding problems, severe fatigue, fluid buildup, and in some cases, liver cancer. By then, the problem may no longer be a simple warning. It may be an emergency. So the goal of future medicine cannot only be to rescue the liver at the edge of collapse. The goal must be to recognize the quiet damage while there is still time to change the story. Here is where the breakthrough begins. Not with science fiction, not with a magic machine that solves everything, but with a new way of thinking. Instead of waiting for the liver to fail, medicine is learning how to measure risk earlier. Blood tests can reveal clues. Liver enzymes can sometimes show irritation or injury. Platelet counts and other routine numbers can help estimate risk. Doctors can use scoring systems such as FIB4 to help identify people who may need closer evaluation. Imaging tools can look for fat. Other tools can estimate liver stiffness, which may suggest scarring. A technology called transient elastography, often known by the brand name FibroScan, can send painless vibrations through the liver to estimate stiffness. Magnetic resonance elastography can also measure stiffness in more advanced imaging settings. These tools are not perfect. No test is perfect. But together, they point toward a powerful idea. The liver can be assessed before the patient is in obvious danger. That changes everything. Because once a person knows they are at risk, the future becomes more negotiable. Weight loss may help some people. Better diabetes control may help. Reducing or stopping alcohol may help. Treating hepatitis B or hepatitis C may help. Changing medications may help in some cases. Monitoring may become more focused. Doctors may know who needs specialist care sooner. And the patient may finally understand that "I feel fine" is not the same as "nothing is happening." That may be the real breakthrough, not just detecting disease, but giving people time to act, time to reverse course, time to slow damage, time to prevent the first major crisis. Now imagine the future. A person goes in for a routine checkup. They are not sick. They do not have yellow skin. They are not in pain. They are not lying in a hospital bed. But their doctor looks at their risk factors: blood sugar, weight, cholesterol, alcohol use, family history, past infections, liver blood tests. Maybe a liver stiffness scan. Maybe a more advanced biomarker. Maybe artificial intelligence that can see patterns across years of lab results. And instead of saying, "Come back when symptoms appear," medicine says, "Your liver is sending an early warning." Not a death sentence, not a panic, a warning, a chance. That is the kind of medicine the future may be moving toward. A world where the body does not have to break loudly before care begins. A world where prevention is not vague advice, but targeted, personal, timed. A world where the liver is not ignored until it is damaged beyond easy repair. And this matters because liver disease is not just a medical diagnosis. It is a family event. It affects parents, children, spouses, workers, communities. A damaged liver can change a life slowly, then suddenly. It can take away energy, clarity, independence, the ability to work, the ability to plan, the ability to feel safe inside your own body. So early detection is not just about lab numbers. It is about protecting ordinary life, the birthday dinner that still happens, the workday that is not interrupted by crisis, the parent who gets more years with their child, the person who changes direction before the disease takes control. But this story also has a warning. Technology alone will not save us. A scan is only useful if someone has access to it. A blood test is only powerful if someone follows up. A warning only matters if the person can act on it. And that means the future of liver disease prevention must not belong only to wealthy hospitals or high-tech clinics. It must reach ordinary people. People who are busy, people who are tired, people who avoid doctors because they are afraid of bad news. People who do not know that diabetes can affect the liver. People who do not realize that hepatitis can be silent for years. People who think liver disease could never happen to them because they do not drink heavily. The next medical revolution may require more than better machines. It may require better awareness. better screening, better conversations, better follow-up, and a better understanding that the liver is not silent because everything is fine. Sometimes it is silent because that is what the liver does. It keeps working, even under pressure, even while damaged, even while waiting for someone to notice. So what if your liver was breaking down before you ever felt sick? Then maybe the most dangerous symptom is the absence of symptoms. Maybe the quietest diseases deserve the loudest attention. Maybe one of the most important breakthroughs in medicine will not be a dramatic cure after disaster. Maybe it will be a warning that arrives early enough to matter. A number on a blood test, a pattern in a health record, a scan that reveals stiffness, a risk score that says, look closer, act sooner, do not wait. Because the liver has always been working in silence. The question is whether medicine can learn to listen before that silence becomes collapse. And if it can, then liver disease may not have to begin with jaundice, swelling, confusion, cancer, or failure. It may begin with a quiet warning, a second chance, a different choice, a life redirected before the damage becomes permanent. And maybe one day, people will look back and wonder why we ever waited for the liver to break before we decided to hear it. Because the future of liver medicine may not begin in the emergency room. It may begin years earlier, in the hidden chemistry of the body, in the first signs of drift, in the moment science finally learns how to find danger while there is still time to change it. And if that future arrives, then liver disease may no longer begin with a crisis. It may begin with a warning, and end with a life saved, before anyone ever knew it was in danger.